would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita.
In 1945, the world changed forever when J. Robert Oppenheimer witnessed the first nuclear explosion. But did you know that Oppenheimer found an unexpected connection to an ancient Hindu scripture that might have shaped his view of the weapon he helped create? After the Trinity test, Oppenheimer famously quoted a line from the Bhagavad Gita saying, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." Was this quote merely poetic, or did it represent the deep moral conflict he felt after creating a weapon of unimaginable power? Today, we'll dive into Oppenheimer's connection to the Bhagavad Gita, explore the moral dilemma he faced, and how his work on the atomic bomb raised questions about the balance of power, duty, and destruction that are still relevant today. J. Robert Oppenheimer was born in 1904 in New York and is widely known as the father of the atomic bomb. He was a theoretical physicist who led the Manhattan Project, the top-secret research initiative that developed the first nuclear weapons during World War II. Oppenheimer was a brilliant scientist, but his intellectual curiosity went far beyond the confines of physics. Oppenheimer was also deeply fascinated by philosophy and literature, especially the ancient Hindu texts. He became interested in the Bhagavad Gita, a 2,000-year-old scripture from India, during his time in Europe. It's said that he encountered the Gita through his studies of Sanskrit and found its philosophical ideas particularly compelling. Why would a scientist who helped develop the most destructive weapon in history turn to the Bhagavad Gita? The answer lies in his belief that duty and moral responsibility were central to his work. In the Gita, Lord Krishna instructs Arjuna, a warrior prince, to follow his dharma despite the personal cost. This theme of fulfilling one's duty resonated with Oppenheimer as he grappled with his responsibility in creating the bomb. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains to Arjuna that his duty as a warrior is to fight, even though it will lead to the death of his family and loved ones. Krishna tells Arjuna that he is not responsible for the outcomes of his actions, only for fulfilling his duty. Krishna says in chapter 2, verse 47, "You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions." This means that Arjuna, like all of us, is expected to do what is necessary, even if it leads to destruction, because that is his role in the cosmic order. Could this concept of duty have influenced Oppenheimer? After all, Oppenheimer saw himself as a scientist with a duty to help end the war, even if the weapon he created could destroy cities and kill millions. Oppenheimer's words, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds," echo Krishna's teaching that destruction is sometimes an inevitable part of fulfilling one's duty. After the Trinity test, Oppenheimer, like Arjuna, was caught between his duty and the devastating consequences of his actions. The bomb, which was developed to end World War II, also introduced the possibility of total global destruction. Oppenheimer had no illusions about the power he had helped create. After seeing the explosion, he famously said, "We knew the world would not be the same." But was Oppenheimer justified in his actions? Could he fulfill his duty to the nation without accepting the moral cost of creating a weapon that could wipe out entire populations? Just like Arjuna, Oppenheimer felt torn between his role as a scientist and the horrific reality of his creation. The moral conflict that Oppenheimer faced, just like Arjuna's, was profound and unavoidable. In the aftermath, Oppenheimer struggled with his conscience. In 1961, he confessed in an interview, In some sort of crude sense, which no vulgarity, no humor, no overstatement can quite extinguish, the physicists have known sin, and this is a knowledge which they cannot lose. This statement reveals his understanding of the ethical burden he carried after creating the bomb. The concept of creation and destruction is central to both Oppenheimer's work and the Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, Krishna's universal form shows that destruction is a necessary part of the cycle of life and death. Destruction leads to new creation as one phase of life ends and another begins. This duality of creation and destruction was something Oppenheimer likely saw in his own work on the bomb. The atomic bomb was both a scientific marvel and a terrible force of destruction. Oppenheimer created a weapon that ended the war, but he also unleashed the potential for global devastation. The bomb was not just a tool for war, it was a symbol of the duality of creation and destruction. Like Krishna's universal form, which destroys to create, Oppenheimer's invention was a tool that both ended war and created a new era of fear, where humanity could now destroy itself. Oppenheimer's inner conflict mirrored the Gita's lesson that destruction and creation are inseparable. After the war ended, the world entered the nuclear age, where the power to destroy the world was now a reality. The question that followed the development of nuclear weapons wasn't just about their use in World War II. It was about the long-term consequences of having this kind of power. Could humanity control such power, or would it lead to total annihilation? Just like Arjuna had to confront the consequences of war, Oppenheimer had to confront the consequences of his scientific discovery. The nuclear arms race, the Cold War, and the threat of nuclear war loomed large, and Oppenheimer knew the weapon he helped create could be used to end civilization. As Oppenheimer's story unfolds, we are left with a haunting question. Can knowledge, when used without wisdom, lead to destruction? The atomic bomb was a tool of unmatched power, and like Krishna's dual role as creator and destroyer, Oppenheimer's work was both a gift and a curse. Do you think Oppenheimer was justified in his actions? Could the atomic bomb have been used responsibly, or was it too dangerous to exist? Share your opinions in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated on more deep dives into Hindu wisdom and epics. Thanks for watching.